Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter. I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses if you're ready, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. We're going to talk about how to get a real estate license in New York. And if you listen to the end, I'm going to talk to you about why you may or may not even want a real estate license, but I'll get into that towards the end of this video. So getting a license in New York is pretty easy. There's really two steps. There is a pretty long course that you need to take. Salesperson license course in New York. You can Google it. It's not expensive. Sorry, I just got an itch. Not expensive. You can probably find the Groupon for it for $99 and take one online. So I get a lot of people call me all the time and say, I'm trying to get my license. I've been waiting to get my license. COVID hurt me get my license. I didn't get my license. But basically, and I've had people tell me I want to take it in person because I'm not going to learn anything online. I understand all that. I can tell you that in my opinion, I've taken live courses and I've taken online courses. It's really hit or miss on a live course. You can get a great instructor who's going to teach you, and you can get a moron for an instructor. I've had some absolute imbeciles give me courses where nobody learned anything. So in my opinion, especially when we're not all open because of COVID, take an online course, which is much cheaper. It's probably $100. The live courses are probably $200, but it's a tremendous commitment of time, right? Because you need a lot of hours to be in there. Online, if you work at a computer, you can literally have this thing running on a tab and just do other work. So it takes very, very little time if you're taking an online course. Now, as to how you actually learn the material, because the second stage is you have to pass a state test. So a couple things. First of all, you should find out whatever online or live. I think live you don't have to take a test from the course giver. But online, a lot of these online schools require you to take a final from them. It's another thing you have to pass. But to be honest, the test isn't that hard. And there's a book you can take out of the library called Cram for the Exam, Study for the Real Estate Broker or New York Real Estate Broker or Salesperson License. If you can read that book, you can pretty much get enough information to pass the test, in my opinion. So I recommend taking an online course because it's easy, it's cheaper. You can certainly pay attention if you want and learn a lot of the material that way. Then you take this book, study the book, and then you take the course. The online course is about $100. The live course about $200. Online course much easier to fit into your schedule. Get this book out of the library or buy it on Amazon if you want. Study the book, and then you take the test. Test is $20. And then once you pass the test, you have to associate with a real estate broker, right? So anybody can park their license with my company for free. I just got screwed on something though. I had a guy who parked his license and then signed up for MLS, but didn't pay his MLS dues. And then my account got suspended and I had to pay his dues. So don't do that. But besides that, I don't mind you parking your license with my company for free. And I pay 100% commission on any deal you bring in, minus a small fee. So that's how you become a real estate, how you get a real estate license in New York. It's so much easier and less expensive and less time consuming than most people think. People think it's this incredibly large and complicated process. Let's think about the average realtor that you know. Most of them are not the brightest bulbs in the batch, let's be honest. And to be even more honest, most realtors in New York or any state hardly do any business. Most of them do it part-time. They close one deal a year, I think, on average. And think about all the really good realtors who do a lot of business, do 50, 60, 100 deals a year, and the average for all the realtors is one. So most realtors are probably not doing anything less than one, if you think about it. So it's easy. It's not a hard thing. I recommend that if you're going to get into the business of flipping or wholesaling houses, that you do get licensed. And I recommend that for 3 reasons, right? The first reason is you want access to multiple listing service, the MLS, right, which costs a few $100s a year, but is the best way to comp out properties, right? Second best is PropStream, but MLS is the best. That's number one. Number two is you want to be able to list your own deals. So whether that's a wholesale deal that you can list, you're allowed to list a wholesale deal. You're not allowed to represent that you own the property. You have to say that you're the contract vendee. It's perfectly legal and fine. Or if you're going to flip a property, you want to list the end product. Or if you're going to wholesale a property, which is buy it, do very little or no work to it, and put it out on the market, you want to be able to control putting it on the market. Not only because you want to save the money that you don't have to pay a listing agent, but also because you want to be in control of that listing and how it looks. If you want to change the price, you want to do it quickly. And the third reason is that inevitably, if you're going on enough appointments, you're going to come into contact with people who A, just want to list, even though that wasn't what was discussed over the phone before you got there, or B, should list, right? I've said probably on 1,000 occasions to sellers, listen, this house is in pretty good shape. You're not in a rush. You'd be crazy to sell it to me, right? You're going to leave $100,000 on the table. Just list it and I'll get the most money for you. And I've listed many properties like that. But if I wasn't licensed, I wouldn't have it. Now, I know there's an all theory, oh, I can just refer them to an agent. I cannot get my head past that. And maybe it's just my head. But in my opinion, I go there, I tell them all I do is buy properties, let's say if I'm not listed, but I have this great agent who you can use and who's going to charge you the same as everybody else and is going to probably do what everybody else does. I got to tell you, to me, it seems like a hard sell. I sell them basically that I'm going to charge them less, I'm going to do it quicker, and I'm going to be better, right? And I say this, I'll give you my pitch basically for what I tell people when I think that they're going to list or I think they should list. I say, listen, I never wanted to be a realtor. I'm a house flipper. The only reason I became a realtor is because I had to list my own houses. So when I list a house, I am the least expensive, right? I'll charge maybe 3.5%. And if the buyer doesn't have his own agent, I'll charge 2.5%. I am the quickest. I'll take a listing for 90 days. Most other agents are going to charge you at least 4 or 5%, and are going to ask you to list it for a year. Right? Maybe if you squeeze them, they'll go down to 6 months. I'll take it in 3 months. I'll have it in contract by then. And also, I'm the best because I spend money on things that other guys don't, right? I pay for Facebook advertising for my own properties. I throw your property in there to drive traffic to get people there. If I need to pay for professional photography, I will. I spend money because I want to sell my own houses for top dollar. Your house gets listed alongside my houses. I sell my houses for top dollar, and your house will sell for top dollar. And I have to sell it quick, just like your house will sell quick. That's my pitch. It works a lot. I don't always get the listing, but everything I said is true. So, in my opinion, if you're going out on enough appointments, you're going to come into contact with people who just didn't even understand the concept of selling it anyway but listing, or really listing is in their best interest and you want to list it for them, right? You're spending money on the marketing, right? You're spending your time going out on the appointment to not quantify, to not monetize that is stupid. Now, obviously, sometimes you're never going to get a listing. So if me or my leads manager and my cold calls are on the phone with a prospect, and that prospect seems to want full retail price and is going to probably list it, they're all trained to say, or I'll say, listen, this sounds like something you want to list. Do you have somebody to list it with? And if they say, yes, my mother's an agent, my brother's an agent, my best friend's an agent, of course, I already met with 6 agents, I'm going to choose one of them. I may not even go on the appointment. But if they say, no, I don't have anybody to list, I'll go on that appointment, even if it's a full retail deal, because I may get the listing. And I probably average 9-10 grand net to me on a listing. So why wouldn't I take that money? It's free money as far as I'm concerned, right? I'm looking at my board now. I have 4 listings now. It's probably 40 grand just right now. So, sorry, I kicked the tripod. So in my opinion, it's foolish not to be licensed. However, and this is the big part, and this is what I was talking about in the beginning, you do not have to be licensed to start. Okay, if you have PropStream access or you have access to somebody's credentials who has MLS access, you have most of what you need, right? The second 2 parts of listing your own properties and taking listings, that comes after you get a deal. So if you're starting, right, you got a long road ahead of you before you get your first deal. You're going to have to talk to a lot of people. You're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find that Prince your first deal. Get licensed in the middle. You don't need to worry about it. You can certainly start without being licensed. And I speak to dozens and dozens of people, maybe hundreds of people who tell me, well, I want to start, but I heard you told me that we should get licensed, so I'm taking the course next month. Don't do that. You don't need it to start. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. It helps. If you have no way to comp out properties, pay $97 for PropStream for the first month. Take the course after. Pay $97 for PropStream a few months. And if you use my link below, I give you back 10%. So it's $87 a month, something like that. So do not wait to get licensed before you start, because the whole process of marketing and finding your first deal can take a long time. So do not in any way, shape, or form use the fact that you are not licensed not to get started. And if you are licensed, then absolutely 100% get started right away. I've done another video about why there's absolutely no conflict between being licensed and being a real estate investor. If you can look that up if you want. But I would say that without a doubt, anybody doing this in any kind of significant way should be licensed, but you do not need it to start. Absolutely not. You can start without being licensed. So don't let that hold you back. Now, if you want to see a bunch of ways that I can help you get started or help your business if you're already started, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. We had a quick meeting at a property one of my coaching students is doing now in Merrick, where this student's doing really well. I have a bunch of students doing really, really well. So that's coaching. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And whatever you're watching on, please click like. The thumbs up really helps me. I appreciate it when we get a lot more likes, and a lot more people have been seeing the video, so I appreciate that. And keep the comments coming. So I really appreciate the comments. I try to go live 5 times a week, and to be honest, sometimes my head's a complete blank. Right now, I'm trying to get a deal done that has to be done close today. It's a little nuts, and I couldn't think of what to say. But this was something that people asked me: How do you get a real estate license? Thank you for all the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Oh, the hearts too. So keep the comments coming. If it's a simple comment that I can just answer, I'll just respond to it. I'll just answer it. If it's a topic that I've covered in a few videos, I'll send you links to those videos. Someone asked me something the other day. I sent them 4 videos. I've done 4 videos through the years on that topic. And if it's something new or something I haven't covered recently, then I'll do a video on it based on your comments. So please keep the comments coming. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you for all the likes and all the hearts. Thank you very, very much.